Yeah. Every time.
Hi there, everybody. It's Lee here from McLeod Media Company. I'm actually here in Orlando, Florida, all the way from Chicago, Illinois, here on the set, a video shoot for Meka Nism's new single, Trailblazer. I'm here with...
Hey, guys.
This is...
Bobby. I'm Bobby Keller. I play guitar. At least I try to.
And if you've ever heard Meka Nism, you know he doesn't have to try. It just kind of happens. And we've got the beautiful Meka Nism over here. Meka over here, getting her makeup did.
I'm becoming the prisoner right now.
Tell you, I've gotten to see some of their shooting here, so it's kind of interesting. So, but yeah, let's start with here with Bobby since he's standing next to me. So, tell us a little about what inspired you to get started in music.
Well, funny story. My mom was actually a DJ, and I grew up in a very musically influenced family, and a lot of my family on that side were all guitar players, drummers, anything like that. And I grew up listening to all kinds of vinyl tapes, and I got into a lot of blues, and I got into like the early Sabbath, Iron Maiden, all that stuff, because all the covers were just so epic looking, and I'm just like, yes, because I was real big into comic books and stuff like that too. So that's kind of what got me into it, but I actually didn't start playing guitar until 2009.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I grew up playing basketball and hockey, sports like that, and then when I was in school in Atlanta, Georgia, I was kind of all by myself, and I was like, what am I going to do with all my spare time? So I learned how to play guitar, and I just kind of watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I just kind of tried to teach myself as best I could, and then when I came back, it was about 2010. That's when I met Meka and everything like that, and then I joined her band, and we just kind of from there. That's where it started. So
Meka Nism is your first band then?
First band.
Wow, that's
pretty
awesome.
much my only band. I've done some filling in with other bands around here, but this is my passion and my love, and we put everything into this. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, what inspired this current
the
motif we've got going on? Yeah.
The single Trailblazer is a pretty. It's a favorite amongst the people who have heard it so far. The new album, and we wanted to do something that was timeless. This is pretty much all of Meka's idea, and it's turned into something. It's so epic. And the whole premise of the song is, you gotta live your life. You only have one life. You gotta do it. And don't be afraid. And you gotta break the chains off. Don't be like held down by society and the pressures of outside influences. So that's kind of what we're trying to portray. I guess Meka. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, cool.
Don't be a prisoner inside your own mind and regret shit.
Yeah. Exactly what she said.
You can't go wrong with that logic. Seriously, I myself, sometimes you gotta say, what the fuck, why not?
Yeah, well, exactly, because the whole premise of the war inside, everybody kind of deals with their battles, whether it's in your mind, you have outside influences, politics nowadays. It's a crazy world we live in, and we wanted to give people the opportunity to express themselves, find themselves. And just lash out, it's like be comfortable with yourself, be confident, and just don't fall into the pressures and the addictions and the depressions that people have a tendency to fall into. And if you do find yourself in that area, you can find yourself out. You can change your mind, the way you're thinking, and hopefully this record helps people find that and get out of there and do what they want to do.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's a great message to have for that, because I mean, music always used to save my life when I was a kid. That was my thing. I didn't have friends or anything. Music was my friend.
Same way here.
So you jump in my bedroom, crank up my cassettes until my mother started banging on my door, telling me to turn it down, or telling me to turn it up, depending on what group I was playing.
Right.
My mom liked to Kiss, so.
Oh, you got a good mom.
Her big crush was Ozzy Osbourne. I've never figured out why. She never got to answer that before she died, and I'm okay with not knowing now. Nice. I don't know why she thought Ozzy Osbourne was hot, but there you go. So here's a little off-the-wall question, a little something fun. If whatever weapon of your choice, what would you have for a zombie apocalypse?
Ooh, that's a really good question. My weapon of choice, I mean, I would think if you had a big car, like a Hummer. or something like that. You know, like with Zombieland, you know how they just drove around in that big. I mean, if you could at least get away from them and run them over, and like at least have some kind of armor so they can't come in. I would say that was pretty good. But I mean, you could have a gun, but you're gonna run out of ammo. You know,
right?
So it's like if you don't have enough ammo, whatever. But I mean, I guess you can run out of gas in a car. So maybe I'd say it. You know, that's damn. I'd say maybe a helicopter, actually, because then I could get out of there and just go to an island so they can't swim. Hopefully.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Just hope that they don't catch
Bobby
me.
wants a helicopter during a zombie apocalypse. Let's see if we can make this happen for him, just in case. You know, we'll get the Meka Nism logo painted on the side of it.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah. All right.
Zombies, buy our album now. You can download it, I guess. If you have
what music do zombies listen to? Meka Nism, of course.
Exactly.
That's
Metal.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you, Bobby. I'm going to go over here and hit.
Thank you so much,
thank
man.
you.
been
I'm
a
going to go. We're going to walk over here to get the prisoner's point of view. We'll call it. We are over here with Lady Meka here.
Yes, and Glenn Pace from Stuart Glenn Studios.
Hello.
Who is the most amazing makeup artist, stylist, designer, friend ever.
I saw some pictures of her after the aftermath, and it was like very Japan X, as you put it, and it was just like, it was freaking awesome. And it was like,
I was the Voodoo Queen yesterday. So Voodoo Queen was fucking, I'm swearing, I'm sorry. Voodoo Queen was totally the empowerment after taking my power back from the societal norms and such. So I start out as a proper Victorian lady, but then a secret cameo character, I don't know, maybe Super Dave, betrays me. And then my friends, I shouldn't say that as a character, but a couple of villains come and they represent the different aspects of society that imprison or enslave you, which can be, you know, societal constructs or, you know, devices of your own mind and your relationship to society. But they take me away, and then I'm a prisoner. And I'm a prisoner of my own mind. I'm a prisoner of the things I let take away my power. But I get influenced by the passion and flame of life. Like Lady Cimmerine from Phantasmagoria. She's a flame element all the way through.
Yeah, that's true, too.
And then she... and my revolutionary character, we have some cameos, some friends, who comes in and then makes it, I get inspired to take my own magic and my own power back, which then I become the Victorian Voodoo Queen, which is pretty much the character. I'm a shaman on a regular basis. It's the Victorian version of that, because really stepping into my power and teaching all of us to step into our power and not let regret, tragedy, woe, expectation, you know, doubt, fear, insecurity trap us inside of our own mind, and just live your life to the fullest and really be a trailblazer, make your own path, you know, be alive while you're alive.
That's awesome.
This time period was only like 100 years ago. It's already gone. All these people's regrets and woes and fears and struggles and dirty dishes, we're all fucking there.
That's right. That's right.
And they're gone. And so now we're here, and what are you doing with it? What are you doing with the time while you're here? You know, so live life to the fullest. This is the one chance you have to live, you know.
You get one chance, yeah.
Do it. I mean, I believe in reincarnation and such, but this is the chance you got to be this version of you. So make it awesome.
Why not, right?
Right?
Well, I mean, look at you. You're already making it awesome. So
Heck yeah.
Let's go back. I want to touch base. What you're a shaman.
Yes.
So what got you into that? So,
I've always been into like the esoteric, the mystical, magical aspects of life. Even from like early teens, I read tarot cards and got into all the anything that had anything to do with witchcrafty things or anything remarkably magical in any way. And I realized that all of the healing aspects of things, there's like an energy to it. And then I realized I lived in Japan. I was studying Buddhism in Japan, and I got to experience shiatsu and just the energy of where Reiki came from. And I got back and I was studying tea and I became Reiki certified, so I'm Reiki 2, and then I stepped up into it, and a great shaman teacher actually invited me to first attend healing circles and then be her apprentice for a few years and make a Peruvian style mesa medicine bag. And so I always consider myself a student of shamanism. She's like, no, you're it now. Do it. go to work. And then soon after that, I got struck by lightning. I'm sure it was just the static electricity, but like lightning came out of my hand.
Yeah.
And so she calls me the lightning shaman. It was, all these beautiful moments, and I get to perform in a lot of the ceremonies that our group, performs, and I get to do healings and whatever I'm called to. I let spirit move me, but I love it. I love the spiritual aspects of life. I think that we're all, healers in different ways. I think art is really, really healing. I think, psychiatrists and doctors are the shamans. Other spiritual leaders and monks and priests and nuns are shamans. It's just a bunch of the same energy work and that spiritual connection and the universal oneness of us all, and still, loving the uniqueness of us all and the way culture has expressed the healing arts. So I'd like to get a master's degree in female healers throughout the world and the most rural shamanic traditions, tribal areas that are still existing. But I've got to meet some really cool spirit dancers from Brazil and different places. So I'm very lucky to have witnessed some really great healers and some really great people.
That is awesome.
But I think Glenn's a shaman too.
Shaman of beauty. But yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I think that's exactly right. So just
it takes a lot to do that. So. But I've looked at some of your older photos and such, and it's I like the way you present yourself on stage and stuff. It's nice to see bands who are actually bringing a show back to the stage, but you also bring your personal element in with your shamanism. So is that a proper term?
Yeah, exactly. Bring the message. Bring
right.
the message. Bring the musical medicine with the show. I think the show is the medicine,
Yeah.
So it's sacred space, and you gotta infuse it with energy. The best way to do that is put all of your intention into it. Make it as beautiful and wonderful as possible.
Well, they said that, if you attend 2 concerts a week, you're going to live a lot longer. So.
Yep. I think that's where everybody expresses themselves and their authenticity. Because, society makes us feel like we have to be all stiff all the time and, hold back and not speak our truth. And speaking truth doesn't mean nasty. Speaking truth means actually connecting with what we relate to in each other and being honest with ourselves in really beautiful ways. And even our dark aspects are part of our beauty and are your path to healing. Mm-hmm. So the last song on the album is Black Sky, which relates to the black sky, white sky shamanism that my Siberian teacher, has, been a person to pass along for, actually centuries, because her family is a long line of Khams, Siberian Khams. And so I'm a black sky shaman, which means I can see right into the darkness and blast my light, but find the beauty there and not be afraid of it and not judge it, but just be like, oh yeah, that's part of the awesome. Mm-hmm. Let's use it. This is great.
This is true, because even though there's dark, there's always light to follow it. Eventually.
Yeah, but it's part of it. You don't have life without contrasts.
No.
And it's part of the beauty. It's like people are saying, well, it's the balance. I'm like, yes, and terrible things are terrible things, but have you noticed all the horrible things we go through lead us to a better self, lead us to a better world, inspire us to take action, to have revolutions internally and externally. I think that it's part of it. I think that the beautiful love of the universe is just light, but then there's no contrast of the painting of life and the art. So I'm not afraid anymore of the darker aspects of ourselves. And just like in Siberia, there's actually 6 months of light and 6 months of dark. They just work directly with that. Mm-hmm. We are doing it a little bit more symbolically here in Florida, but it's pretty rad.
So is that the Warren side? Is this what has inspired you for this album?
Yes. Is the internal struggles that we all go through. So many people struggle with addiction problems and worthlessness, which is weird because, they've got so much going on for them. Can I have a tissue? So it's it's really important to face these things and to realize that it's not something to be afraid of. Your sadness, like use it to propel you to be motivated. Like say you're sad about an issue, then take that to like lead a charge, a revolution for yourself and others, like to make the world better. You can get involved with something and make a difference in somebody else's life. I mean, that's the greatest way to healing, is to serve others. But even when we do these music videos, I feel it's like a healing process for all of us, because we're expressing these things. Imagine what Victorian women had to go through, their role in society, and the reasons they could put women into an asylum, an insane asylum, for having emotions at all. So I love expressing that, because here I am in 2018 being able to speak my mind, being able to scream at people's faces as my life. Like, I front a metal band, and I have a message to deliver through this loud medium. 100 years ago, this was unheard of. And I better speak my message as loud as possible, and if I have this opportunity at this moment of time. And I hope that teaches everybody else to be their most authentic and to speak their truth and to appreciate the moment that we have to do that. Because 100 years ago, I couldn't have done this. And the women who did do some really cool shit 100 years ago, holy props to them, because it was a heavier load to bear to be a woman, just to wear this crap every day, to not even be able to breathe and still be like fighting for the right to vote. Are you kidding me? Like, there's so many issues, but it's not just about women, it's about all of us finding that issue that connects us all. And whatever whatever design of stuff and quirks you have is exactly the design of blessings you have to give. I think our challenges and our weaknesses lead us to our greatest blessings. Like, I fall asleep if I sit at a desk, but that means I could never have been a teacher or, an office worker. I have to be something active and standing and alive and screaming at people's faces. But it matters. Awesome. So everything matters.
Well, you found your true path, basically. And it's like, I tell people, it's like I've currently gotten into more female-fronted bands. I've always admired more of the female-fronted bands. And it's like the transition that you guys have had to go through, female-fronted bands in the 80s, they were they're okay. We have to doll them up, have to make them look pretty. And then as soon as you actually had one that actually could basically kick ass on guitar and show a man, you know what, I can do this as good, if not better, than you.
Was so good, weren't they?
And it's like, and now, some of the more what's the word I'm looking? Talented bands are coming out of the woodwork that are female, and people are starting to stand up and take recognition for that.
Yeah,
and I think that's awesome.
And it's funny because even in recent years, even now, a lot of our female-fronted metal bands are celebrated, or a little bit more of the overly sexualized and victimized roles, which is beautiful and needs to be expressed. But then I realized, I think it's most important to me then to talk about the power and talk about my more mystical and magical aspects, because my role, like, I am very much have a softness and a kindness to me, but I have a ferocity that will never die, and I think that's what the new twist that I get to offer, and that a lot of us are trying to deliver, is something that hasn't been said in a long time. Like, even Madonna being able to be in her time, like, express different aspects of gender rights and roles and expression in the 80s and 90s. Here we are, 2018, like, what hasn't been? Well, how powerful we can be.
Right.
And how, and that was a power in and of itself, but there's a new way, there's a new message, and about, self-healing and being a gift to each other, in all sorts of ways. And really just living your life to the fullest and really enjoying it. Like, even the sad stuff, if you, like, know that it's part of it and you have a little more acceptance. I love that my teacher was like, okay, be sad for a second, but then turn it right into the energy you're going to use for their next thing. And it doesn't mean I'm not going to be sad when people pass, but use that as, like, honor them, know that they are just part of the universe, and use that we all die, so there's nothing wrong with it. use that to fuel how you're going to live your life even more, and what you're going to do with it while you're here.
That's great.
I recently asked my teacher, and you could just hear her yelling at us, "Don't stay sad. Go do your work." And we're all getting right to work and doing like healing ceremonies, and I get to do this as part of my message, my work, like just whatever activates you. And I think it's time to be activated.
That's fantastic. That's like, I watch your videos. You can see where you can see the softness in you, and then it's like a second later, you're like, you talk about the veracity that you have. You pull that through with your music, and I like that. That's one thing. That was like when Corinne McLeod. Clan McLeod. There can be only one.
Yes.
When she introduced me to you guys' music, I was like, okay, because I'm kind of all new to the new metal, and anything that's kind of current is like the last maybe 6-7 years I started getting into it.
Nice.
And then she's like, hey, you need to go listen to these guys. So I listen to your music. I'm like, okay, this chick kicks ass. I mean, this girl can rip. And it's like, and it's like the whole band, the whole aspect, the whole look. It's like, it's just something that draws you in. But it's the talent that keeps people coming back.
Yeah.
And speaking of coming back, so where are you guys touring? What's touring going on for this album? What are you guys playing?
Oh, I'm not there yet.
You're not there yet. Sadness.
But the EP is launched on May 10th, and then we'll see what happens from there. And that's when this music video is going to be launched with it. And then we'll just see what happens from there. Like, the ride's just getting going. There's a lot hanging up in the air that hasn't landed. And I have no clue what's about to happen.
And I know we're all hoping for a Chicago show.
Chicago! Yes, absolutely.
we are looking forward to a Chicago show. But one quick question. Is this the first album you've ever had being pressed to vinyl?
Yes! Oh my God, yes! Even like with Origami Girls in Japan, or like Meka Nism, Rusty Tears, whatever I've done, this is it. This is the first album on vinyl.
I'm very excited
and
for
purple.
that. My favorite color.
Yeah, which represents the crown
one.
chakra, which is where the war inside takes place,
That's nice.
Yeah. So it's representational, once again, of energy work.
I love that. So we're going to have to say goodbye to Meka so she can get back on set. And I personally want to thank you guys for letting me come in and invade your
Such a
time
pleasure
space.
having you here.
Yeah, it's been an amazing thing. It's you kind of made a kid's dream come true today. So
yay! Thank you, Lee.
So from me here at this wonderful tattoo parlor,
36 Black Art Collective and Tattoo Salon Studio
in Orlando, Florida, right down the street from Pulse. We are going to say goodbye for now, and we'll see you on the flip side. Take care, y'all.